Before we begin today, I want you to do something for me. If you have a blood pressure monitor at home, think about the last number you saw. Maybe it was 148 over 86. Maybe 155 over 92. Maybe your doctor looked at it and said, let's keep an eye on it. Or maybe they added another medication. But here's the question nobody asks. What if your blood pressure could drop 15 points in the next 30 days without adding another pill? Not by doing something extreme, not by waking up at 4 a.m., not by running marathons, not by giving up every food you enjoy, just by changing a few specific habits that directly affect the biology of blood pressure after age 60. Because the truth is this: most seniors are working hard, but they're working on the wrong things. They're cutting out salt while eating foods that silently raise blood pressure. They're taking supplements that do nothing. They're exercising at the wrong time of day. They're missing the one body system that controls nearly everything related to blood pressure. And that's exactly what this June 2026 challenge is about. Over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the same 30-day protocol I recommend to my patients who want to improve their blood pressure naturally. Some of them lowered their systolic blood pressure by 10 points, some by 15, a few by even more. But there is something important you need to understand. This is not medical advice. Never stop or change prescribed medication without talking to your doctor. This challenge is designed to work alongside your doctor's care. My goal is simple: help your body work better. Because when your body works better, blood pressure often improves naturally. And what happened to Robert proves exactly why. Robert's story. Robert was 72 years old, retired electrician, lived outside Columbus, Ohio. Every morning started the same way: coffee, news, blood pressure monitor, and disappointment. The numbers never seemed to move. His doctor had already increased one medication. A second medication had been discussed. Robert was frustrated, not because he didn't care, because he was trying. He walked. He avoided obvious junk food. He took his medications exactly as prescribed, yet every doctor's visit ended with the same conversation: we'd like to see those numbers lower. One afternoon, his daughter came to visit. She watched him check his blood pressure. 153 over 88. He sighed. Then he said something that many seniors quietly believe: maybe this is just what happens when you get older. That sentence stopped me when he later told me the story. Because aging affects blood pressure. But aging does not automatically sentence you to hypertension. What often happens is something completely different. Your body changes, but your habits don't change with it, and that's where problems begin. When Robert and I reviewed his daily routine, we found several hidden issues. Nothing dramatic, nothing shocking, just small habits quietly pushing his blood pressure higher every single day. Habits millions of Americans over 60 are doing right now. Within 30 days of changing those habits, Robert's average systolic pressure dropped 14 points. No new medication, no miracle supplement, no expensive program, just physiology working the way it was supposed to. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. But before we start day one of this challenge, you need to understand something critical. Because if you don't understand this next concept, none of the steps will make sense. Why blood pressure changes after 60. Imagine a brand new garden hose. Flexible, soft, easy for water to move through. Now imagine that same hose after decades in the sun. Stiffer, less flexible, harder for water to move through. Your arteries experience something similar. As we age, blood vessels naturally lose elasticity. This doesn't mean they're broken, it means they need more support than they did at 40. At the same time, several other things happen. Your kidneys become less efficient at balancing fluids. Your sleep quality changes. Stress hormones stay elevated longer. Muscle mass gradually declines. Activity levels often decrease. All of these influence blood pressure, which is why focusing on only one thing, usually salt, is often ineffective. Blood pressure isn't controlled by one habit. It's controlled by a system. And when that system starts working better, pressure often starts moving in the right direction. That's why this challenge focuses on the entire system, not one magic trick, not one supplement, not one secret food, a complete protocol. And day 1 begins tomorrow morning, June 1st, because the first habit happens before breakfast, before coffee, before the news, before your feet even hit the floor, and it may be the most important habit in this entire challenge. Week 1. Resetting the morning surge. Day 1. The 2-minute wake-up protocol. Most heart attacks and strokes occur during the morning hours. There are several reasons for this. Blood pressure naturally rises when you wake. Stress hormones increase. Blood becomes slightly thicker from overnight dehydration. Your cardiovascular system is transitioning from rest to activity. For younger adults, this transition is usually smooth. For older adults, it can be much more dramatic. Yet most people do something dangerous. They wake up, jump out of bed, grab coffee, check their phone, and immediately launch into their day. It's like flooring the accelerator on a cold engine. Instead, starting tomorrow, do this. When you wake up, stay still for 30 seconds. Take 4 slow breaths, sit up slowly, wait another 30 seconds, drink a full glass of water, then stand up. That's it. 2 minutes. Those 2 minutes allow your nervous system and cardiovascular system to adjust gradually. Many of my patients notice lower morning readings within days, and that's only day 1. Day 2. Hydration before caffeine. Most seniors wake up mildly dehydrated. You've been breathing all night, losing fluids all night, and yet millions of Americans do this. Coffee first, water later. That sequence matters because dehydration temporarily increases blood viscosity. In simple language, your blood becomes slightly thicker, your heart works harder, blood pressure rises. So for this challenge, we're creating a new rule. 1 large glass of water before the first sip of coffee, every day. Not because coffee is bad, because timing matters. One patient called this the easiest blood pressure improvement she had ever made. No effort, no cost, just changing the order. And yet it produced measurable results. Tomorrow, start there. Water first, coffee second. Now, the next habit surprised even me when I first started studying it, because it's something many seniors think is helping their heart, when it may actually be doing the opposite. Day 3. The breakfast mistake that raises blood pressure. Most people think blood pressure problems start at dinner. Too much salt, too much processed food, too much eating out, but many blood pressure problems actually begin at breakfast. Let me show you what I mean. A typical American breakfast might look like this: toast, orange juice, sweet cereal, bagel, muffin, maybe a flavored coffee. At first glance, it seems harmless, but inside your body, something very different is happening. Blood sugar rises rapidly, insulin rises rapidly, stress hormones respond, inflammation increases, and blood vessels become temporarily less flexible. For someone over 60, that creates a problem, because the body already struggles more with glucose regulation than it did decades ago. I remember a patient named Carol. She was 68. Every morning, she ate what she believed was a healthy breakfast: orange juice, toast, low-fat yogurt. Her blood pressure remained stubbornly elevated despite medication. When we changed nothing except breakfast, something remarkable happened. Her morning readings began falling within 2 weeks, not because breakfast cured hypertension, because breakfast stopped aggravating it. For this challenge, try building breakfast around 3 things: protein, fiber, healthy fats, eggs and vegetables, Greek yogurt with berries, oatmeal with nuts, a protein-rich smoothie without added sugar. These meals digest more slowly, blood sugar stays steadier, stress hormones remain lower, and your cardiovascular system gets a much calmer start to the day. 1 meal won't change your life, but 30 mornings in a row? That can absolutely change your numbers. Day 4. The potassium advantage. If there is one nutrient that deserves more attention in blood pressure discussions, it's potassium. Most people focus entirely on sodium. Very few think about potassium. But potassium helps your body balance fluid. It helps blood vessels relax. It helps counteract some of sodium's effects. The problem? Most seniors aren't getting enough, not because they're doing anything wrong, because modern diets make it surprisingly difficult. Now, before you run out and buy supplements, let's talk about food first. Some of the best potassium-rich foods include avocados, beans, spinach, sweet potatoes, salmon, tomatoes, plain yogurt. Bananas get all the attention, but they're not the only option. For this challenge, choose one potassium-rich food and add it to your day. Not 10 foods. Not a complicated meal plan, just one. Consistency beats perfection every time. And there's another benefit. Many potassium-rich foods are also rich in fiber, antioxidants, and minerals that support blood vessel health. One change. Multiple benefits. That's exactly what we're looking for. Day 5. The 10-minute walk that changes everything. Most seniors know walking is good. The problem is that many people are walking at the wrong time. They wait until later, or they skip it entirely because they don't have time. But there is one specific walk I care about more than almost any other. The post-meal walk, particularly after dinner, just 10 minutes. That's it. Not a power walk, not a fitness challenge, just movement. Why? Because after eating, blood sugar rises, insulin rises, blood vessels experience temporary stress. A short walk helps muscles absorb glucose. Blood sugar stabilizes more quickly, circulation improves, and many people see lower evening blood pressure readings as a result. I had a patient named Frank, 73 years old, former truck driver. He hated exercise, absolutely hated it. The word gym made him laugh. But when I suggested a 10-minute walk after dinner, he agreed. Not because he loved the idea, because 10 minutes felt manageable. 30 days later, he returned. His blood pressure had improved, his blood sugar had improved, and he was sleeping better. One habit, 3 benefits. The lesson? Don't underestimate small actions. The body responds to consistency, not heroics. Day 6. The hidden blood pressure thief. I want you to think about something. When was the last time you slept straight through the night? Not woke up twice, not woke up 3 times, straight through. For many seniors, the answer is, I can't remember. And that matters more than most people realize, because poor sleep affects blood pressure in ways many people never connect. Every time sleep is interrupted, stress hormones rise. The nervous system becomes more active. Blood vessels become less relaxed. Blood pressure often follows. Now, I'm not talking about occasional bad nights. I'm talking about chronic poor sleep, the kind that becomes normal, the kind people blame on age, the kind people stop trying to fix. One of my patients called poor sleep the tax she paid for getting older. But after improving her sleep habits, her blood pressure dropped 7 points without changing anything else. That's when she realized it wasn't aging, it was physiology. Tonight, begin a simple experiment. Dim lights 1 hour before bed. Avoid news and stressful content late at night. Keep the bedroom cool. And try to maintain a consistent bedtime. Simple, not glamorous, but surprisingly powerful. Day 7. The first checkpoint. Congratulations, you've completed the first week. And now comes something important. We're not chasing perfection, we're chasing progress. Some people will already see lower readings, others won't. And that's okay, because blood pressure doesn't always change overnight. What matters is trend, direction, momentum. Take your average blood pressure reading from the last 3 mornings, write it down, not 1 reading, 3, because blood pressure fluctuates naturally. We're looking for patterns, not isolated numbers. Now here's the exciting part. Week 2 is where many people start seeing measurable changes, because week 1 prepared the foundation. Week 2 focuses on something most doctors never discuss enough, the muscles. Not your heart, not your arteries, your muscles. Because after age 60, muscle becomes one of the most important organs for blood pressure control. And most people are losing it every single year without realizing it. The next habit may be the biggest surprise in this entire challenge, because it has nothing to do with salt, nothing to do with supplements, and everything to do with a hidden change happening inside your body right now. Week 2. The muscle-blood pressure connection. Why muscle matters more than most people realize. When people think about blood pressure, they think about the heart, maybe the arteries, sometimes the kidneys. Very few think about muscle. And yet, muscle may be one of the most powerful blood pressure regulators in the human body. Here's why. Every time your muscles contract, they help pull glucose out of the bloodstream. They improve insulin sensitivity, they improve circulation, they help blood vessels remain healthier and more responsive. The problem? After age 60, muscle naturally declines. Not because you're lazy, not because you're doing something wrong, because aging changes the equation. Researchers estimate many adults lose significant muscle mass every decade after middle age if they aren't actively maintaining it. And as muscle declines, blood sugar regulation becomes harder, inflammation increases, blood pressure often rises. This is why some seniors walk every day but still struggle with blood pressure. Walking is wonderful, but walking alone isn't always enough. Your muscles need a reason to stay, and that's what week 2 is all about. Day 8, the 5-minute strength routine. Now, before anyone panics, I am not asking you to join a gym. I'm not asking you to deadlift. I'm not asking you to become a bodybuilder. I'm asking for 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes. Here is a simple routine. Chair, sit to stands. Wall push-ups, standing calf raises. That's it. Start slowly. Move carefully. Use support if needed. The goal isn't exhaustion. The goal is activation. One patient named Susan was 71. She hadn't done any strength training in nearly 20 years. The idea intimidated her, but she agreed to 5 minutes. 3 weeks later, she called my office. "Dr. Carter, I feel stronger getting out of the car." That wasn't placebo, that was muscle. And stronger muscles often lead to healthier blood pressure over time, because your body becomes more efficient, and efficiency is exactly what we're trying to restore. Day 9. The afternoon movement. Window. Most people assume exercise has to happen in the morning. But for blood pressure, the afternoon can be incredibly powerful. Why? Because many seniors experience their highest blood pressure readings during periods of stress and inactivity later in the day. This is where a simple movement break becomes valuable. Today, I want you to do something different. Set a timer. Every hour you're sitting, stand up and move for 2 minutes. Walk around the house. Stretch. Do calf raises. Anything. The goal is interruption, because sitting for hours allows circulation to slow. Muscles become inactive. Blood vessels become less responsive. Movement acts like a reset button. Tiny actions, repeated often, creating surprisingly large effects. Day 10. The midday stress check. Midday stress. Here's something fascinating. Your body doesn't know the difference between a charging bear and an angry email. Both activate stress pathways, both raise stress hormones, both can raise blood pressure. And after age 60, the body often stays in that stressed state longer than it used to. That's why today's challenge isn't about food or exercise, it's about awareness. At noon today, ask yourself one question: how tense am I right now? Most people never ask, they simply carry stress all day long. Tight shoulders, tight jaw, fast breathing, elevated blood pressure, unaware it's happening. When patients begin noticing stress instead of ignoring it, something interesting happens. Their bodies often relax, and blood pressure frequently follows. Awareness creates change. Day 11. The breathing exercise that surprised researchers. If I told you one breathing exercise could lower systolic blood pressure several points, many people wouldn't believe it. Yet, researchers have repeatedly found this effect, not because breathing is magical, because the nervous system listens to breathing. Slow breathing sends a message. The message is, we are safe. The body responds by reducing sympathetic nervous system activity. Heart rate slows, blood vessels relax, pressure often decreases. Today's exercise is simple. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6 counts. Repeat for 2 minutes. That's it. Many seniors report feeling calmer almost immediately. And remember, a calmer nervous system often means calmer blood pressure. Day 12. The food label experiment. Today we're becoming detectives. Pick 3 foods in your kitchen, turn them around, read the label. You may be shocked. Many foods marketed as healthy contain enormous amounts of sodium, sugar, or additives. Soup, bread, sauce, frozen meals. Even foods that don't taste salty can contain surprising amounts of sodium. One patient discovered her healthy canned soup contained more sodium than an entire fast food meal. She wasn't making bad choices, she simply didn't know. Knowledge changes behavior, behavior changes biology, and biology changes numbers. Day 13, Robert's breakthrough. Remember Robert, the retired electrician from Ohio? This is where things became interesting. At the end of week 2, he checked his average blood pressure. The reading surprised him. Instead of the usual 100s and 50s, he was seeing numbers in the low 100s and 40s. Not every reading, not every day, but enough to notice. For the first time in years, the trend was moving in the right direction. He called his daughter, not because he had reached perfection, because he had proof. Proof that his body could still change. That matters, because many seniors quietly lose hope. They assume improvement is no longer possible. Robert discovered the opposite. Improvement was possible. His body just needed the right inputs. And the biggest improvements were still ahead. Because week 3 focuses on something that may be even more important than food and exercise combined. Inflammation, the silent driver behind so many blood pressure problems after age 60. Week 3, reducing the hidden pressure inside your body. Day 14, the inflammation connection. Most people never feel inflammation directly. You don't wake up and say, "My inflammation is high today," but your body feels it. Your arteries feel it. Your blood pressure feels it. Inflammation makes blood vessels less flexible, less responsive, less efficient, and when arteries become less flexible, pressure rises. Think about squeezing water through a flexible garden hose versus a stiff pipe. The pressure changes. That's exactly what can happen inside the body, which is why reducing inflammation becomes so important. Not just for blood pressure, for overall health. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about one of the biggest inflammation triggers in the modern American diet. A trigger millions of people consume every single day without realizing what it's doing inside their blood vessels. And the results may surprise you. Day 15. The biggest inflammation trigger in the American diet. When people think about blood pressure, they usually think about salt. But there is another culprit that deserves attention. Ultra-processed foods. Foods engineered to be convenient. Foods engineered to be addictive. Foods engineered to keep you reaching for another bite. The challenge is that these foods often create inflammation, blood sugar instability, and weight gain simultaneously, a difficult combination for blood pressure. Today's challenge is simple. Identify one ultra-processed food you eat regularly. Replace it with a minimally processed alternative. Not forever, just for the remainder of the challenge. Maybe it's chips. Maybe it's sugary cereal. Maybe it's packaged desserts. Small swaps repeated daily often create bigger changes than dramatic diets nobody can maintain. Day 16. The anti-inflammatory plate. Today we're focusing on addition instead of restriction. Most diets focus on what you can't have. This challenge focuses on what you can add. For dinner tonight, build half your plate from colorful vegetables. The brighter the colors, the better. Spinach, broccoli, bell peppers, carrots, tomatoes. These foods contain compounds that support blood vessel health and help reduce inflammatory stress inside the body. One patient told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Dr. Carter, vegetables stopped feeling like punishment once I started seeing them as medicine." That's exactly the mindset shift we're after. Day 17. The weight-blood pressure relationship. This next point is important. This challenge is not about chasing a number on the scale. Many seniors become discouraged because weight loss feels difficult, but here's the good news. Even modest weight changes can affect blood pressure. Research consistently shows that losing even a small percentage of body weight may help reduce pressure on the cardiovascular system, and often the improvements begin before dramatic weight loss occurs. Why? Because healthier habits improve metabolism long before the scale catches up. So if your weight hasn't changed much yet, don't quit. Your body may already be improving in ways you can't see. Day 18. The evening sodium trap. Most people don't consume their highest sodium meal at lunch. They consume it at dinner, restaurant meals, takeout, frozen foods, convenience foods. The problem isn't just the sodium itself, it's timing. A high sodium dinner often contributes to overnight fluid retention. Morning blood pressure readings may reflect what happened the night before. Tonight, try something different. Prepare the simplest dinner of the week. Lean protein, vegetables, whole foods, nothing complicated. Tomorrow morning, pay attention to how you feel. Many people notice a difference immediately. Day 19. The walking upgrade. By now, you've already established movement habits. Today, we're making a small upgrade. Add 5 minutes to your usual walk, just 5. Not because longer is always better, because gradual progression keeps the body adapting. The goal isn't exhaustion. The goal is improvement. Remember, the cardiovascular system responds remarkably well to consistency. 5 extra minutes today, 5 extra minutes tomorrow. Months later, the difference can be dramatic. Day 20. The stress audit. Think about your day yesterday. How much time did you spend consuming things that increase stress? News, social media, arguments, worry? Many seniors unknowingly spend hours each day activating stress pathways, and those pathways influence blood pressure. Today's challenge is a stress audit. Identify one source of unnecessary stress. Reduce your exposure. You don't have to ignore reality. You simply don't need to marinate in anxiety all day. Your nervous system deserves recovery time. Day 21. The second checkpoint. 3 weeks completed. This is where many participants begin seeing meaningful changes. Take another average of your last 3 blood pressure readings. Compare them to week 1. Not perfect? That's okay. Improving? Excellent. Remember, we're measuring direction, not perfection. And now we move into the final week, the week that ties everything together, because there is one factor we haven't fully addressed yet, and it may be the most underestimated blood pressure tool of all. Sleep. Week 4. The recovery phase. Day 22. Why sleep controls more than you think. Every night your body enters repair mode. Blood vessels recover, hormones rebalance, inflammation decreases, the cardiovascular system resets. Or at least that's what's supposed to happen. When sleep becomes fragmented, those processes suffer, and blood pressure often reflects it. Many seniors spend years trying to fix blood pressure while ignoring sleep. That's like trying to fix a leaking roof while leaving the windows open during a storm. Tonight, prioritize sleep like it's medication, because for many people, it effectively is. Day 23. The bedroom reset. Today's challenge is environmental. Look around your bedroom. Is it optimized for sleep? Too bright? Too warm? Too noisy? Small environmental changes often create surprisingly large improvements. Cool room, dark room, quiet room. Consistent schedule. Simple, but powerful. Day 24. The caffeine cutoff. Many people say, caffeine doesn't affect me. Then they struggle to stay asleep. After age 60, the body often processes caffeine more slowly, which means afternoon caffeine can still be active at bedtime. Today's challenge: no caffeine after lunch. Not forever, just try it. Observe your sleep. Observe your morning blood pressure. Let your body tell you whether it matters. Day 25. The gratitude experiment. This might sound unrelated to blood pressure. Stay with me. Every night before bed, write down 3 things that went well today. That's it. 3 things. Why? Because the brain naturally focuses on threats. Gratitude redirects attention. Stress decreases. Sleep often improves. And when stress decreases, blood pressure frequently benefits. Simple doesn't mean ineffective, sometimes simple works best. Day 26. Robert's final week. By the fourth week, Robert noticed something different. It wasn't the numbers, it was how he felt. More energy, better sleep, less afternoon fatigue, easier walks. The blood pressure improvements were exciting, but the quality of life improvements surprised him more. That's something many people discover. Healthy habits rarely improve only one thing. The body works as a system. Improve one area, others often improve too. Day 27. The long-term mindset. At this point, some viewers will be asking, what happens after the 30 days? The answer is simple. You keep the habits that helped. You don't need to do everything forever. You keep the habits producing results. That's how sustainable health works. Not all or nothing, not perfection, selection. Find what works, keep it. Day 28. The future you imagine yourself 6 months from now. Same habits, same challenge principles, same consistency. What might change? Lower readings, more energy, better sleep, easier movement. The purpose of this exercise isn't fantasy, it's perspective. Because today's choices become tomorrow's health, every single day. Day 29, the final measurement. Tomorrow is the final day. Before we get there, take a moment to appreciate what you've already accomplished. You've moved more, hydrated better, improved nutrition, reduced stress, improved recovery. Regardless of the exact numbers, you've already done something valuable. You've given your body support, and your body notices, even when results aren't immediately visible. Day 30. The results. Robert sat at his kitchen table. Same blood pressure monitor, same coffee mug, same chair, but different numbers. 138/81. Not perfect, not miraculous, but meaningful. His average systolic pressure had dropped roughly 15 points. More importantly, he no longer believed that aging automatically meant decline. He understood something many people never learn. The body can change. Even after 60, even after 70, sometimes even after 80. Given the right support, the body often responds. And that's the entire purpose of this challenge. Not perfection, progress, not fear, action, not quick fixes, consistency. Final message. If you've completed this June 2026 blood pressure challenge, I want you to remember one thing. Your blood pressure is not determined by one meal, one day, one bad habit, or one birthday. It reflects thousands of daily decisions, and the beautiful thing about daily decisions is that they can change. Starting tomorrow, starting today, starting with your very next choice. If you found this challenge helpful, write your starting blood pressure and your current blood pressure in the comments. I read as many as I can, and your story might inspire someone else to begin. I'm Dr. Amelia Carter. Thank you for spending these 30 days with me. Take care of yourself, take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.